Hey everyone, I've got some exciting news for you today. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you, but I'm also going to need your help. So listen in the next 2 minutes and I'll tell you what's going on. Okay, that was my intro, just to hook you. But yeah, if you look at the video title, the long and short of it is I'm ready to start querying again. I've gotten my edits to a good place where I want them to be, and I'm looking forward to starting sending out queries. Possibly, I mean, we have a long weekend coming up, Labor Day and everything. Possibly this weekend into the upcoming week, I want to send out at least a few. So here's let me just give you a short background of what's been going on. I mean, you've heard me talk about it before if you've been watching this for a little while, but I'll tell you kind of where I've come from and where I've been and why this is a big accomplishment. Okay, so my story, Fractured Heroes, I've been working on since forever. I wrote the first draft in 2000, or I began the first draft in 2010, so it really has been a long time, like 14 years. Um, after rounds of feedback and everything, anyway, 3 years ago now, it still feels like a long time. In 2021, I talked to an agent, or a few agents about potentially getting it published. This was a much older version compared to what I've done now. It was close to 200,000 words. Okay, it's super long. It was super long. I have an ensemble cast, and I was trying to tell everyone's origin story and backstory all in the same novel and the main plot. Okay, so it was like 193,000 words. This one agent I talked to, this is June 2021, so about 3 years ago, said she was intrigued by the premise of like broken individual heroes. I mean, by broken I mean they're realistic characters with flaws. My superheroes are human, realistic. She was intrigued by these broken heroes coming together and kind of the found family thing to find hope and healing. That was kind of the premise, but she was concerned about the word count. Understandably, that's a long book, and I've since realized that's way longer than it needed to be. I took me a while to realize that, but I now have realized that. Um, and this one agent said 125,000 is good to shoot for sci-fi. I consider it sci-fi. Superheroes are a subgenre of sci-fi. You're dealing with formulas that can give people powers and mind control and stuff like that. So yeah, she said for sci-fi, 125,000 is a good target. I've heard a lot of people say even less than that. Some people don't want to read anything over 100,000. Some publishers and agents won't look at that. But it's hard to cut out that much. If cutting out 100,000 would be almost half of the book. So I was like, I'll take the higher number. So this person 3 years ago, for what it's worth, one agent's opinion, maybe may not all be the same, but one agent's opinion said I should shoot for 125,000. Okay, that was 3 years ago. So I took a long time to work on editing it and cutting things out. I had a beta reader look at it, or a beta reader slash editor. I'll throw her name out there, Rebecca Flovin. She was very helpful to me in past couple years. Um, I did take out most of those backstories. I didn't like delete them entirely. I had them in documents somewhere. Hopefully, I can use them somewhere else again, or release them as short stories or something. But I took out big chunks of those backstories. There's still some important ones. Some that are more central to the plot are still in there, but I took out big chunks of the backstory from the main novel. Um, I rewrote some parts and just scrapped some scenes that weren't working, tried to eliminate wordiness wherever I could. And that took me a while. I mean, I was dragging my feet on editing because editing your own stuff is tough, and also it's a little like killing your darlings, they say, so it's hard. And I was working on other projects too. I was also somewhere near that time frame. I was drafting my sequel. So I have books 1 and 2 drafted at least. Um, so it took me a long time because I was dragging my feet and other stuff going on. But anyway, um, last year, 2023, so about 2 years time, I finished my edits, at least what I thought I finished up to that point, and it was down to 130,000 words. So from 193,000 to 130,000. Okay, I've cut out over 60,000 words in that time span. Again, some of it I kept on the side so I can hopefully do something with later, but I cut out big chunks of that. Okay. I was like, it's still not 125,000, but that's pretty dang close considering where I was coming from. 130,000, I felt good about that. And I felt like it was ready to send out. So last year around May, so a little over a year ago, I started sending out queries to agents and publishers. I sent out, I don't know how many. Um, I mean, for a while there, I was trying to do them once a week. So it wasn't once a week for the whole year, but for a little over half the year. So I don't know, I sent out at least 25 or 30, maybe 40 or 50 queries in the course of the year, and I didn't get many hits. I got a few. I got like I got one at least one publisher that said like, "Hey, send us more," and then after I sent them more, they weren't interested. They decided they weren't interested. And I got one publisher that said they actually would publish it, but it ended up not being a good fit. It was I didn't realize it when I first submitted, but it was like digital only publishing. It was some new kind of company. I'm not saying that's bad if someone wants to do that, but kind of my dream goal was traditional publishing with a hard copy in my hand. So this one, so I actually said, sure, we'll publish it, but it may not be what you're looking for. I did some more research and decided it was not what I was looking for. So I didn't get zero hits. I got some signs of interest that was encouraging for a first time sending it out there, but overall didn't get a lot of hits. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's hard to break into publishing, all that stuff. There's it takes luck, it takes finding the right person, it takes any number of reasons. But I kind of asked some people, some of my writer friends, I asked them, okay, well, is this normal? How many queries should I send out, or how long do I need to wait before possibly getting some hits? Um, what's good to expect. And some people said in one of the writing groups I'm in, some people said, well, if you've been at it for a while and you're not getting many full requests, you might want to revise your pitch. By a full request, they mean like someone wants to see your full manuscript. Because usually when you send in a pitch, when you send in a query, they don't ask for your full manuscript anymore. I mean, rarely they do, if any. Maybe they used to, but they ask for like they want to see your genre, your premise. They want to know like the upfront stuff, like the blurb and the short synopsis and stuff like that. And they might ask for like the first 3 chapters, the first 5 chapters, or sometimes the first 10 pages, stuff like that. So they want to see that, and if they like that, then they'll ask you for the full manuscript, and then they'll read the full manuscript and see if they like that. And so some people said if you're not getting any full requests, you may need to revise your pitch to make sure that's good. Um, like because your pitch is what needs to hook them again. Sadly, just in today's world where publishers are busy, everyone's busy. They're not reading everyone's 100,000 page or 100,000 word manuscript right off the bat. They're reading a sample, and then if they like it, they ask for more. So for better or for worse, you kind of have to hook them in that sample in the first few chapters, or sometimes in the first 10 pages. You really got to hook them. And so I realized this is maybe about around end of last year, 2023. I realized, I wasn't getting many hits, and I think I can condense some parts of my introduction. I've got some scene. My first scene is not really an action-packed scene. It was introducing this one character, but it's not really action-packed. It doesn't seem like a superhero novel in the first scene. And there's some other slow scenes in those first few chapters where I'm developing characters, but it seems like not much is happening. And I was like, I wonder if I can condense this and do something with this. So that's been my project this year, 2024. I have not sent out any queries in 2024. Take that back, I sent out one for a different project. But for this project, Project Heroes, I haven't sent out any queries this year. And it's taken me longer than I hoped to edit this. I mean, I was working on other projects too. I've mentioned before, I've got an ongoing writing project I'm doing for my church, and I've had my hands in blogs and a few other things. So yeah, I've been working on other projects too, but been editing this intermittently. Um, and so it took me about 8 months intermittently with other projects, because here we are at the end of August. But so I was looking at my first 4 chapters. I realized to myself at one point, I was like, it's not really until chapter 5 that the action picks up. I do have an ensemble cast, so I've just spent a few chapters introducing them, and because I want it to be about their lives, not just their action feats, but their human lives. I spent a chapter kind of looking into everyone's human life, but not really, still not advancing the plot much. And then I had a flashback chapter to introduce one character who was a superhero years ago, but he's not around anymore, and he becomes important in the plot later. Spoilers, he comes back. But anyway, so I was like, it's really not till chapter 5 that I'm beginning the main plot. That's too late. And I mean, I have longer chapters too, and so like double spaced, with double spacing, which was what they asked for. Chapter 5 was like around page 100, so like first 100 pages in Microsoft Word were kind of just set up and not advancing the plot. And I was like, that's too much. That's not what it needs to be. So anyway, I spent the last 8 months or so editing that down. Um, those first four chapters I looked at, I scrapped and rewrote significant portions of them. I kept some scenes, but I don't know, at least three scenes, at least, well, no, one full chapter and at least two other scenes and other chapters I scrapped and rewrote entirely. Um, yeah, and others I made major edits to try to cut out wordiness and everything. Um, and so that's what I've been working on these past 8 months. And as of this morning, actually, I feel like I worked on a little bit last night and this morning, and I feel like I'm in a good place where I can edit it, where I can send it out again. Let me show you. I want to show you what I've done. I'm going to share my screen. And if you're listening to this on the audio podcast version later, you'll have to come back to Facebook or some other social media site that I have with video. I usually post this on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn too. You have to come back and I'll probably post this on YouTube as well. But you have to come back to Facebook to see it. But I'm going to share my screen here so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay. This is actually, it's not the document, is it? Wait, no, let me do this one first. Okay. This is a screenshot that I took. I was, let's see, when I was making my edits these past 8 months of the first four chapters, I was doing that in a separate document. So I had that in a Google Doc, and I still had the main document of my main story, which is about 130,000 words. You can look at like in the bottom left corner here, 495 pages in excuse me, in Microsoft Word, 495 pages, and yeah, it's about 131,000 words, 131,263. So that's what it was. And again, I mean, I was working in a separate document, um, and stuff like that. But so I wasn't, yeah, so I wasn't editing this main document. Okay, yesterday, when I felt pretty good about the edits I'd made to these first four chapters, I pasted in the revised version into my main document. And here's what it is now. This is my main document, Factory Heroes, Samuel N. Harris, bottom left-hand corner. 476 pages, word count 125,977. Okay, so actually yesterday I got it like just doing what I thought I needed to. I got it down to it was like 126 100, and I'm like, that's really close. And I'm like, you know what, I can edit out 100 words of wordiness somewhere. So I read over a couple scenes again in chapter 5 and edited out some wordiness. Anyway, I know if you look at the 977, that's almost another 1,000, but I've got it to where the first three numbers of the word count are 125. Okay. This agent 3 years ago told me 125,000 is a good target to shoot for. And if that's true, if other people believe that too for sci-fi, then yeah, I am now within the range of 125,000. And if you look at these, if you pause the video and take the time to read them, these scenes are completely different. This scene about the character Norman, and it's looking out his window. That was my first scene for a long time. I scrapped that one. It's not in there anymore. Norman was a character I was trying to introduce. Um, he's not the main character. He's kind of a side mentor character who's important, but I was trying to introduce him, and I decided to find a different way to do that. I scrapped this scene. Now it starts with Robbie, who is the main one. It's all about cast, but if you had to pick one, Robbie is the main character, and he is a superhero, and it starts with him. I mean, he's in a secret identity, but he's gonna get into an acne situation in the first few pages. So yeah, these are completely different scenes. I scrapped them. So I'm gonna stop sharing there so you can see that. Um, so I am pleased. I've come a long way. It's been, I mean, not mentioning even the original, like the years of writing and editing before that. Even in the past 3 years, I feel like, and in the past even 8 months, I feel like my story has come a long way. I feel like it's in a much better shape than it was. I know it's a perfect no. If I kept editing, I'm sure I could find more. You know what? I probably could cut out those 977 words and get it right down to 125,000 if I really tried. If I read through the whole thing and cut out some more wordiness. But I'm just like, I've been sitting on this too long. I've been spending time, editing, kind of an editing purgatory, and I want to get it out there again. So my goal was to take a few months, turn it to 8 months, but hey, my goal was to take a few months this year and turn it into and get it ready to query again. So now that it's ready, That's what I'm gonna do. So yeah. So I'm excited. I've got it down to 125,000. That's where I want it to be, and right around there. And I think the intro and the first few chapters are much more engaging. So I'm gonna get out querying soon. Again, long weekend. Maybe I'll even do one this weekend or this coming week. That's kind of the goal. But yeah, I've been making myself a list. I have a list in a document of agents and publishers I've seen who seem like they might be a good fit in the past 8 months or whatever, and I've noted them, put their links in my document so I can be like, hey, once I'm ready again, let me check this out. So I don't know, at least 10 or 12 people in a list and document I want to start with. I'm going to be working through those in the next few weeks and months. So here's where I need your help. I need to know people to query to, publishers and agents, especially who are looking for something that's like sci-fi-ish, sci-fi drama, I'd say, superhero action drama, I call it. I know superhero is it's kind of its own category. I consider it a broad category of sci-fi, but anyone who publishes speculative, who does sci-fi, they probably wouldn't be opposed to that necessarily. And mine is more, I've called it an action drama because yes, there's action, but I've made it about the characters and their lives and relationships. There's a drama element to a romance element. So it's not just action and fights, but anyway, someone who's interested in the broad sci-fi genre, if you know a publisher or an agent like that who I haven't heard of yet, who I haven't checked out yet, if you have a publisher or an agent like that, if you are a publisher or an agent like that, and you think my throw would be a good fit for you or for whoever, whichever person or organization you've used, let me know. Contact me. I mean, all the social media. I'm posting this video on all of my accounts. You can send me a message wherever. Contact me. I want to hear from you because I want to submit this thing to a lot of places in the next several months. Some of you mentioned some of you know from previous videos, having a baby. Oh, well, my wife is, but new baby coming in February, and my goal is to between now and then hit the querying really hard. Best case scenario, Lord willing, I will have a book deal maybe. Um, by the time baby comes and I can give this a break and be with the baby, and then maybe be with my wife, be with the baby during that time, and then if the book comes out sometime next year, that'd be awesome. Then it'll be a little bit of income. I know it's not going to be an overnight bestseller or anything. A little bit of side income to help with the baby. That's kind of my hope right now. So anyway, yeah, it'll be a dream to get it published within the next year and make a little bit of money from it and have people start knowing about it and stuff like that. So if any of that sounds like it's up your alley or you know someone whose it is, let me know. I want to submit to them. I'm going to be submitting queries to a lot of people in a lot of places if I can help it. So if I can find one to query to. So that's my goal. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for cheering me on. I know you guys have been cheering me on. Some of you keep asking like, when is it going to be ready and what's the latest? And here it is. Here's the latest. Gonna start querying again. I'm not published yet. I'm closer than I've ever been to this dream I've had for decades. Closer than I've ever been now, and I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. So yeah, stay with me anyway. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching and supporting. You guys are the best. Have a great weekend, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.